Hello, welcome back to the Board Games 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a medieval bag building game called Orleans, or Orleans as we like to say because we're English and we're not going to pronounce the French load of nonsense. This is a game where you'll be pulling tokens out your bag, sticking them out onto your player board that will allow you to take actions to get more tokens, that will allow you to take more actions, that will allow you to get victory points in order to win the game. And in this video, we're going to be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and then we will come back and we will tell you whether or not Orleans is still worth playing today and in the future. So if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you after this. Board Games 4K. So, Orleans, how'd you play this game? So this game takes place over 7 phases, and in the first phase it's called the hourglass phase, and what you'll be doing, you'll be revealing the next event from the stack of event tiles, and there's 18 of these, and each one of these corresponds to a round, so it's going to be 18 rounds to this game. So phase 2 in Orleans is the census phase, and what you'll be doing, you'll be looking at the farmer track, and whoever's furthest up on the farmer track will receive 1 coin, and whoever's furthest back will have to pay 1 coin, and if there's a tie, nobody pays and nobody has to give up anything. So the third phase of this game is called the followers phase, and what you'll do, you'll reach into your bag and you'll pull out as many tiles as is equal to your score on the night track, and then you'll place those tiles on the available spaces on your market board. So if you've already got some tiles there, then that will limit the amount of tiles you can pull from your bag. So phase number 4 is the planning phase, and this is the portion of the game where you'll be taking these tiles from your market space and you'll be placing them out onto the various actions on the board. And when you place these tiles out, then you have to match the colour and type of the tile with the action space, unless you have a monk, in which case monks can be used as a wild card on any space that you like. So phase 5 is the action phase, and this is where you'll be carrying out in turn order the actions that are on your board. You could carry these actions out any way that you see fit. So we'll start talking about which actions do what right now. So the first action is the farmer action, and what you'll do, you'll take a farmer tile, dump it in your bag, move your marker up 1 space on the farmer track, and you'll take the good that is depicted on that spot. So the second action you can do is the village, and here you'll have a choice of what you can do. You can either take a boatsman, you can take a tradesman, or you can take a craftsman. And what you'll do, you'll take one of the corresponding tokens from that pile and you'll dump it in your bag and you'll move your marker up 1 spot on the relevant track. The boatsman will give you an extra number of coins depicted on that spot. The craftsman will allow you to take a technology tile. And what technology tiles do, once you've passed, you can then take that tile and you can put it on any space on your player board, and that will count as if that marker is already on that space. There's a couple of little restrictions with this. So the first technology tile you place must replace a farmer, and you can only have 1 on each action space. You can't replace monks, and you can't replace action tiles that require only 1 tile, right? So that's how technology tiles work. So with a tradesman, you'll take a tradesman tile, you'll dump it in your bag, you'll move up 1 space on the trades track, and then you'll be able to take a tile from either stack 1 or stack 2, and you'll look through all these tiles. You don't have to take the top one or nothing like that. So you'll look through all the tiles, and then you'll choose one of the extra tiles to take and you'll put it in front of you, and that will give you an extra action on your turn. Some of the tiles that you may or may not want to choose, you might want to choose the horse wagon, which requires a trader and a knight, and it will allow you to take the wagon action. You might want to take the office, which requires 2 scholars. For every trading post you've got, it will allow you to take 1 coin. Or you might want to take the gunpowder tower, which will allow you to move 2 players onto the deeds board, which we'll talk about in a bit. And the tiles in stack number 2 are slightly more powerful. You might want to take the scarcity tile, which requires a monk, and this will allow you to be immune from any negative effects of the events. You might want to take the cellar, which requires a monk and a scholar, and it will give you 4 coins. Or you might want to take the library, which requires a scholar and a knight, and this will allow you to move up 2 spaces on the development track, which we'll talk about again we'll talk about in a bit. So the next action you can take is the university action, and what you'll do, you'll move your token up one space on that particular track. You'll take a scholar, dump it in your bag, and then you will move up a certain amount of spaces on the development track. And if you pass over any coins or any citizens, you'll take those. And the development track basically is to do with final scoring, which again we'll talk about in a little bit. So the castle action, you'll take a knight, you'll dump it in your bag, you'll move up one space on the knight's track, and then this will allow you to increase the number of tokens that you can take out your bag in the followers phase, right? So the monastery action will allow you to take a monk and dump it in your bag. There's no secondary action with this, but the monk basically acts as a wild card when you're placing your followers out onto your player board, and also you can chuck them onto the deeds board, which we'll talk about in a bit. So the shipping action will allow you to move your merchant along any waterway, and if you go across any goods tiles, you'll be able to take one tile that you've crossed over. And the wagon action is similar, so you'll be able to move across roads, and again you'll be able to, if you move across any goods tiles, you'll be able to take one of those tiles and put it in front of you. These give you victory points at the end of the game. So the guild hall action allows you to build a trading station in the spot where your merchant is, and you'll take one of your little houses and you'll dump it on a board, and again this will give you victory points at the end of the game. So the scriptorum action is very, very simple. This allows you to move up one space on the development track, taking any benefits that you may or may not have at the time. And then the town hall action, you can put out 1 or 2 tokens on this spot. What you'll do, you'll take any tokens that you've got there and you'll put them onto a relevant spot on the deeds board, and you'll take the amount of money that's depicted on there. One of the spots also gives you a choice between money and development points, and if you are the last person to populate a space that completes the set, then you will take the corresponding citizen that is on that spot. Right, once everyone's completed all their actions, everyone's passed, then you will then resolve the event, any positive or negative effects of the event. And also you have to remember that if you can't pay any cash towards any negative events, and you have to undergo what's called torture. And what this means is if you can't pay the money, so you have to give up a goods tile, you have to give up a follower, you might have to give up a development point, in which case you'll move your development token back one space. You might have to give up a place tile or a development tile, and that's basically how torture works, right? So the 7th phase of this game is that you'll pass the start player marker to the person on your left, and you'll do this 18 times, and then you'll do a bit of final scoring. So the way final scoring works, you'll get 1 point for every coin you got. You'll get a varying number of points for goods, ranging from 5 for the brocade all the way down to 1 for the wheat. And then you'll do a little bit of maths. You'll add the amount of trading stations you've got plus the amount of citizens that you've got, and then you'll multiply that by how far up the development track you are. And you'll look at the development track, and there's little stars on there. Everyone starts with a development of 1, and you can all go all the way up to number 6. So you'll add trading stations with your citizens and multiply it by the score on your development track, and whoever's got the most victory points at the end of the game will win Orleans. So what do we like about Orleans? So the first thing that we really like about this game is the simple rule set. It is a doddle to teach. It takes about 15 minutes, well maybe a little bit longer than that when I'm teaching it, but it takes about 15 minutes to teach. It's so easy. You're just telling people to take a certain amount of things out of their bag, rearranging them on the board, then taking the associated action, and that is it. Doddle. So the second thing that we really like about this is the way the bag building is a really novel take on the deck building mechanic, right? It sort of switches it up a little bit. So, okay, and we know this game is based on the random draw out of the bag, but that is mitigated by the fact you've got monks on the board, which is like a wild card. You've got the tech tiles on there, and then you've also got the deeds board that you can utilise when your bag gets stuffed. So do you hold back? Do you make your bag lean so that you've always got decent actions that you can plan ahead for every turn? Or do you flood your bag with these numpty tiles so you can, more often than not, get something out of the bag and then flood the deeds board at the end of the game with all the tiles that you don't need? So there's a nice number of choices come out of these certain few actions, and we really like that. So another thing that we really like about this is the way that all the different factors of this game carry equal weight when planning your route to victory. So you've got the board with the waterways and the roads, you've got your player board that you've got to think about, and then you've got the deeds board you've got to think about. So you've got all these different things floating around that you've got to try and bring together into one big whole. So the next thing that we really do like about this game is the artwork. It really does anchor the game into a point in history, like the sort of, it's got that Bayeux tapestry sort of thing, you know, with that medieval sort of vibe to it, where all the figures are sort of misdrawn in a sort of weird sort of way. It really does anchor that theme down and breathes life into what could otherwise be a rather drab affair. So the next thing that we really like about this is the way that turn order is instrumental in planning your victory. Like a lot of games, turn orders just pass to the left, pass to the left, pass to the right, or whoever's got the biggest nose will become first player. It doesn't work like that in this game. You have to be wary about who's doing what and when, because one example was when both me and Gavin, we planned to place a trading station on one particular spot, but because I was first in turn order, I got to do it first, and Gav was left with having to wait and rearrange his plans in that specific turn. So we really like the way that turn order can make or break your strategy based on how impatient or patient you can be when planning your victory. So what don't we like about Orleans? So the first thing that we don't like about Orleans is there's a few really fiddly and difficult to remember rules when playing this game. So the first fiddly rule is the fact that we kept forgetting that you can only place your first technology tile on a farmer space, and that was a real pain in the neck because I think we all fell for that. Even though that was explained in the teaching of the game, it was really difficult to remember that particular rule. And the second thing is that you can't place starting tiles onto the deeds board. So again, we fell for that, and on a number of occasions, especially because we got the deluxified components on this one. It's very difficult to see your own little marker on, especially on the black trader tiles that you're going to put it out. So we did fall into that pit trap on a number of occasions. So the second thing we don't like about this game is the fact that it's very difficult to remember which tiles were already out on your player board when you're in the planning phase. So you might be moving these things around thinking, hang on, no, I want to move that across to somewhere else, but did I place it out? Because if tiles are already on your board, they can't be moved unless you do it before you take tiles out your bag, right? So it's very difficult to remember which tiles, if you're moving them around, it's very difficult to remember which tiles were already out there first, and that is a right bummer. So another thing that's related to that is the fact that you may be pulling more tiles out than you're actually allowed. So what you need to remember to do is to look at your market space, and that's how many tiles you can draw. So there's a sort of a mismatch or disconnect between the knight's score and what's on your market board. Because there was a few occasions when my mum, for instance, was pulling all these tiles out, placing them out on the board and thinking, oh, I've pulled out too many. What do I do? Do I pull them all out? Or which ones did I actually have there in the first place? So she was then choosing which ones to put back in her bag, and that's a big no-no. So there's that. There's all these different little fiddly rules that you have to remember when playing this game. It might be better. Maybe we can't see a reason why that should be the case. You should just be able to dump them out. So the final thing that we don't like about Orleans is the fact that on the deeds board, some of the spaces may always be underpopulated. And when we played this the other day, there wasn't many boatsmen in the game, so that all those spaces were sort of just empty, and we ended up fighting for the smaller spaces, and then when they were filled up, we just didn't bother putting anything out on the deed board. So even though we played it with the maximum player count, there were still sort of empty spaces on the deed board, and that was a real shame because when we played this before, that seemed to happen again and again. So I don't know, maybe cut off part of the deed board. I don't know, I'm not a game designer, but we did find that parts of the deed board were underpopulated, which is a bummer. So to summarise, is Orleans still worth playing today? And we're going to say yes, you need to play this game. It's fast becoming one of our favourite games of all time. And you couple that medieval artwork with some really, really simple mechanics, and you've got yourself a 5-star game. And even though it's based on a random draw from a bag, that is easily mitigated with the technology tiles, the monks, and you can also dump tokens out your bag to make your bag leaner and lighter by using that deed board effectively. And we love this game. We love the way that all its component parts come together in one big whole, and we are going to give this 5 stars without a doubt, and we implore you to play this game as well. So that's our 5-star review of Orleans. Remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you next time.